Lekker, lekker, lekker. We're going to be making some lovely wontons for lunch this afternoon. So, recipe will be in the description box below, but we are going to be needing 500 grams of mince, not lean, something with a little bit of fat on it. Then we're going to need a quarter cup of corn flour, a teaspoon of crushed garlic, a quarter teaspoon of crushed ground ginger, a pinch of white pepper, and then a teaspoon of salt. We are also going to be needing 3 free-range eggs, a green pepper that I've already sliced there that will go into the food processor to chop it up, 1 onion. You need a little bit of soy sauce. You're going to need a little bit of sesame oil, and then the chili for the dip afterwards. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take all the dry ingredients, add it to our mince, and then we are going to be taking the eggs, break them into the mince. But before they do that, we are quickly going to chop our onion, and we are going to chop up our green pepper finely so it's all ready to go. Okay, let's start by cutting our onion and just getting the skins off. I normally just cut them in half and then chop the ends off. It just makes it a lot easier to peel. Let's peel them off. And see how easy the outer layer skin peels off. There we go. So what I'm just going to do is just give it a quick rough chop like that. And then bring our little chopper aside. Pop the onion in there, as well as the green pepper. Pop the lid on. That little grinder going, lock it in, and then we're going to be grinding. And now that I've got everything in the grinder, excuse the noise, we're just going to blitz it to nice and softly. So there we go. Give it a little bit of shake. There we go. We can just give it a little bit more. There we go, nice and finely chopped all together. Okay, now let's add our dry ingredients. Corn flour, the garlic, the ginger, our white pepper, our salt. Just put a little bit of salt there, so let's get that in there. You can season this according to what you prefer. If you wanted less salt, you can add less salt. If you want more pepper, you can add more pepper. But this is the basic ingredient. And let's break our eggs in there. 1, 2, 3. What I'm doing today is I've just done a little bit of a cheat. I have bought the ready-made wonton pastry from my local Asian shop. It just makes life a lot easier and a lot quicker, especially if you're in a hurry. You can see it's just in little pastry sheets like this. You can actually freeze this if you don't use all of them. But we will at some point look at doing a full recipe on making the actual pastry as well. But today this is a quick and easy let's do. One thing I forgot to add is we're going to be adding a little bit of, we're going to need oil for the deep frying at the end. And we're just going to add a splash of sesame into here just to give it a little bit of flavor. There we go. We're just going to add like a half a teaspoon of sesame seed. You just get it at your local Asian shop or any of your other shops. I prefer buying at the non-chain groups. And there we go. So all we're going to do is either take a spoon, or you can just take your hands and just mush it all together. If you're a little bit with getting your hands in there, then don't worry about that. Then just use a spoon. I prefer using my hands. They have been washed. I've got my cloth on the side, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to mush this all nicely together. And we are just going to need 1 egg that we're going to be using at the end just to seal our wontons. So let's just mix this all nicely so you see it's all mixed through. Then I'm just going to grab come out our onion and our green pepper. We've done. I'm just going to add that into it. You can swap the green pepper out for spring onion if you prefer, but the green pepper with the beef just really works very nicely and very well. Again, get my hands in there. Just mix it in so everything is nicely mixed together. You don't want a mince that is too lean, because then you lose some of the flavor and then you lose the taste. So let's grab our cloth over here. I just want to give my hands a little wipe, and I will go and wash them. Now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to pop this into the fridge for about half an hour to 15 minutes to half an hour, just so that the consistency can just settle a little bit, and then we will get our pastries all packed out and ready to go. Okay, I've taken our pastry out of the little bag. You can see it's already pre-floured. They don't stick, nice and thin. Got my egg here. That's my 4th egg. Just give it a good whisk. Just using a fork here, so you don't need anything fancy. There we go. And then we've just got a little basting brush over here for basting, because what we'll just do is we'll just dip it and just baste the 4 corners for when we fold it in. So the fold will basically be bringing it in, and bringing it in, and bringing it in. So it forms a little pocket, and we'll just squeeze it together. So let's just wait for everything to dry. As I said, this is my way of doing things. It might not be the professional way of doing things. It's not whatever, but the recipe is authentic and it is absolutely delicious. And then what I've also got here is just a little bowl on the side with water. Here I need to just rinse my fingers, and my trusty old microfiber on the side for wiping fingers. So let's go and have a look and see how the mix is doing. Okay, our mince has cooled down quite nicely, so you can see it's a little bit on the stodgy side. Let's give it a little bit of a stir through. And I'm just going to have a little taste to see if the seasoning needs to be up. I might need a little bit more salt, so I'm just going to add a little bit more salt to it. Just free-handing it there. As I say, the salt and stuff is entirely up to you, how much seasoning you want to add. But I just found that I just need a little bit more salt into this. And because it also just depends on the mince. And I'm also just going to add a smidgen for our taste to the little bit more white pepper. But that's why I say we give you the basics, and then you just add. I'm just mixing it through. And there we go. Now I'm just going to get my little factory set up. So you basically just grab your little pastries. As you can see, there's quite a bit of little sheets in there. They are quite thin. I'm just going to pack them out. A little factory setup. So we can just get them going. Oh, come here. You can see how thin they are. So sometimes they just, with my big fingers, don't want to work too well. Just fold them open. There we go. So we've got about 9 packed up there. Let's grab our little basting brush. Let's give them a little bit of a baste. It's just so that they will stick nicely. Oh, come on. As I said, this is not going to be perfect. So slow down, slow down. Lekker slow down. Also just do the corners alone, because that's, and now we just take our teaspoon and we take about a teaspoon, plop it in the middle. And there we go, in the middle. Lekker man, lekker. That's a little bit big, a little bit smaller. There we go, another one. So if the family is together, what you can do is you can have little Johnny pack out the little sheets. Sarah can go and rub on the egg, and then mom or dad can just go plonk the mince in the middle, and then whoever wants to be very patient and fold these over can fold them over. So just fold them over side to side, side to side. So they just form like a little pyramid. And then all you do is give them a little twist just to make sure that they are nicely sealed up, and then we pop them to the side. So we'll just go again. I'll just take corner to corner, corner to corner, corner to corner, little basket, and just make sure that we are squeezing them in. Give them a little twist and pop them to the side. So we'll go north, south, east, west, and just give them a little bit of a twist. And go, and pop them to the side. So let's do it one more time. North, south, east, west, and let's tie that lovely little knot. Pop them aside. There we go. I will see you after I have gotten rid of all of that mince and all of those, and then we will go and deep fry them. See you soon. As you can see, I'm folding and folding and folding and folding. So what I'm going to do now is these that are folded already, I'm just going to pop them into the fridge so they can stay nice and cool, because it makes a big difference when you pop them in. Otherwise, the pastry can become a little bit mushy at the bottom, as you can see there. But if you pop them into the fridge, it actually just solidifies it a little bit better, and it just sets, and they don't fall apart when you put them into the oil. See you back soon. Okay, so here I've got them nicely out of the fridge now, the ones that's already been rolled. As you can see, I've still got some more to do, but I don't want to waste time because I've got some hungry people waiting for some food. So while these are frying, I will continue making the others. And let's get some oil in the pot. Let's get the oil nice and hot, just so that it starts smoking a bit, about 180 degrees of the oil. And then we'll start putting them in the oil and fry them until they're just golden brown and crispy. Pop them out and then have it with some lovely chili oil of your choice, and also some lovely premium soy sauce. And I'm also going to add right at the end one other one that you might like and enjoy. See you in a moment once the oil is nice and hot. While we're waiting for the oil to warm up, we can see it is an absolute glorious day outside. Lovely blue skies, a couple of clouds there. And then I've got my stalker, so if you hear ducks quacking in the background, they visit here on a regular basis. So let's go and see if that oil is nice and hot yet. Okay, it seems that our oil is nice and hot. So as per normal, always be very careful around oil. I'm just going to take a little piece of pastry and just drop it in there to see if it's starting to bubble. If you don't want your oil to be too cold, otherwise it's going to draw oil, and then you are going to have very oily, very oily food. There we go. It's all floating, so let's just get rid of this. You can use a wire basket in this if you'd like, but as I said, we are making do with what we've got here with us. So I'm going to use my lovely spaghetti scoop, because it's lovely to scoop them out, and then I have got my spatula. So there we go. So I'm going to pop the first one in. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't put too many in there, otherwise you're going to overcrowd it and your oil is going to cool down too quickly. So just make sure that you've got a number of them, and so it can just start bubbling over. I've got these lovely crocodiles, my silicone handle, and as you'll see, I don't use paper towels. I use microfiber cloth because it's a lot more environmentally friendly, and I just drain it on that. That just goes into some hot water and some vinegar and dish liquid, and you boil it up, and that is nice and clean. There we go. So I'll just give it a little bit of a stir. And also, I haven't filled it up too much with oil because you don't want to waste oil, and the more oil you put in there, the longer it takes as well. So we will just flick them around a little bit, just so they can get a little bit on the brown golden side. As you can see here, that one is still a little bit on the soft side, so we'll just flip it around. There we go. Flip around. A wire basket does work very nicely if you pop them into a wire basket, because you can just pull them all out at the same time. And as per normal, my lovely colander as my draining tray. Oh, the smell is unbelievable. So we just keep turning them ever so slightly. You can do this with lamb, you can do this with pork. However, today we have done them with beef mince. You can also make your own beef mince. Down the line, we will actually get our KitchenAid out, and we will actually show you how to make proper mince as well as proper sausage that's got no 1,000,001 preservatives and starch and corn and everything in it. So that is coming down the line. And yes, so we are going to really explore a lot of different things here on this lovely show. So there we go. Excuse for the bouncy bouncers here, but bouncy bouncers me. And oh, by the way, what do you think of my lovely apron? It looks like a lovely rump T-bone steak. I was given this a number of years ago by a friend, and I absolutely love my apron that looks like a butchery. So if you guys are interested and you want some, we can always have a look and having these remade or have something similar made with the logo on. But yeah, I thought it's quite a fun, funky apron. So if you're not a meat eater, sorry, we'll do something with vegetables for you. Let's go. Let's have a look. Dun, dun, dun. So what up? You see, I've upgraded from my mug to my old enamel little dishes from my grand's kitchen, and they're ideal to put knives and forks and spoons and get them from the Sally shops. Let's have a look here. Oh yes, you can see, nice and crispy. You just want to make sure that the beef is cooked through. If you're doing pork or chicken, just really make sure that it is cooked through. You don't want to get salmonella poisoning or end up in the hospital. So these ones seems to be ready. Oh, just look at that. Just look at that golden color. Oh. See, your spatula works as well, but I'll show you now my speedy scoop, how well it works. There we go. And this works just as well when you're doing dumplings. But as I said, you can do a wire basket as well. Entirely up to you. And as you can see there, I've got all my mixing dishes ready in the sink that I've used so that we can actually get them all washed up. No dishwasher here. Dishwasher for these hands. Oh, just look at that. Just look at that. Okay, let's get the next slide in so you can see that I'm not cheating. There you go. Well, that's not. There we go. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So there's 20 in there already. And as you know, there is still some more that I am busy making. So let's quickly just do a timer here. Alexa, set, start, stopwatch.
Good evening, Werner. Timer for how long?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Starting now.
There we go. There's my nifty assistant on the side, very politely greeting me. So this is, have a look here. I've just put it on 3 minutes so we can just make sure that the timing is right. If they start browning a little bit too quickly, then you know your oil is getting a little bit too hot, and you can just turn them down ever so slightly, which I'm going to do now. I can see that are just browning a little bit too fast, so I know my mince in the inside, my mixture is not going to be cooking through. You don't want raw in the middle, too crispy and burnt on the outside. Ah, there we go. Oh, just look at that. You can see that they are just getting a little bit too brown too quickly. And as I said, we are doing this together. If I make a botch up, I'll show it to you. If it's a success, I'll show it to you. But so far, I've made these once before, and so number 2. Yeah. So here we go. It's a little bit too hot, so I have turned my oil down, my heat down a little bit. Obviously, it varies from stovetop to stovetop. As you know, I cook on gas, so gas is a lot quicker. Other things are a little bit faster, a little bit slower. The induction, it's immediate heat as well, like with gas. So just keep that in mind when you are doing your anything that you cook, anything that you fry. The temperatures might just vary. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pop these onto a plate on the side. They are always be served basically immediately. So while I'm busy doing these, the balance of them are being made by the family on the other side, so that they're all ready for me to pop in. So there we go. Okay, second batch ready to come out into the colander. There we go. Oops. Always careful with this very hot oil. As you can see, my little crocodile that I've got here, it just helps, especially when you're working on gas. There we go. As I said, 3 minutes. Alexa, stop. There we go. As I said, 3 minutes, so we can see in real time it was 3 minutes. So now I'm ready to pop, and you can see there's a little bit of smoke coming off here. So the oil was a little bit hot, so that's why I did turn it down. And we're popping the rest, and I will see you once we have gone through all of these little bits and pieces. But before I complete all of these, I will get them nice, hot and ready with our chili sauce, with our soy sauce, and we can try and see how they taste. See you soon. There we go. We have got our lovely wontons with some chili sauce and our soy sauce. This specific soy sauce that I've used here is a lovely sweet one. So it's got a little bit of a sweety taste to it, which just works very well with the beef. And you can also just use normal soy sauce. Just a little bit of greenery to garnish it. And there we go. Don't ask me to use the chopsticks because I am still learning. So let's give this a try and see how they taste. So going on there. Absolutely delicious. Nice, hot, steamy, and it's all cooked through to the middle. We'll see you in the next episode, you little salty dogs. Speak soon. Okay, so we've made around about 50 out of this batch over here. So there are about 12 left over that I'm not going to fry, just to show you how easy it is to actually freeze them. Pop them into your little freezer bag next to each other. They don't get all squished. Seal it up into the freezer, and you can just pop them out whenever you're ready, or you can actually make a soup from these. So there we go. We'll chat soon.